and welcome back to the Cook to Flourish kitchen. This is Robin Cook in partnership with Where the Red Fern Grows Farms. And today we get to make a coconut komatsuna saute. So I hope that you and your family really enjoy it. So we're going to use three primary ingredients here in this recipe today. So of course we're going to need some komatsuna greens, which are just beautiful from Red Fern Farms. Aren't they just gorgeous? So we're going to take 4 cups, which is about 1 bundle of the komatsuna greens, and then we're going to slice them into about 1/2 to 1 inch thick slices. Okay, so have that, set that aside. Then we're also going to need some butternut squash. We're going to need 2 cups of small cubed butternut squash. So what I did was I took a butternut like this and I cut it off about right here, and I'm using this neck portion. I call it the neck. So not where the seeds are. It's easier to use just that solid flesh part, okay? So you're going to take this raw, you're going to wash it, and then you're going to cut it off about right here or so. Then you're going to peel it with a vegetable peeler, and then you're going to cut it into little cube-sized pieces. Let me show you. So you're going to cut it, and you're going to slice it first into like sticks here. So I'll show you one here. So you're going to cut it into sticks, and you'll cut that stick into smaller little cubes, okay? So when it's all said and done, you're going to have 2 cups of cubes. So then I'll hold one up for you here. There we go. So you're going to need 2 cups of the butternut cubes. So now we're going to add the butternut cubes into a glass or stoneware baking dish. We're going to preheat the oven to 350 degrees. Then we're also going to take 1 cup of minced or diced red onion, okay? So just little pieces of our red onion, just nice and small. So that's going to go in here with our butternut squash. Now, this is where the coconut part comes in. We are going to put in 1/2 tablespoon of organic coconut oil and 1 teaspoon of coconut aminos. So that's going to add a little bit of sweetness and of course some coconut flair to this recipe here. And we're going to be roasting the butternut squash and the onion just to give it a deeper flavor. Now, if you wanted to do this recipe quicker, what you could do is you could take the butternut cubes and you could steam them, or you could steam saute them on the stove instead of roasting them. The roasting is going to take a little bit more time, but it's going to give us that deeper flavor that we're wanting. So we have the oil, we have the coconut aminos in our pan, and then we're going to add 1/8 of a teaspoon of real salt or sea salt, 1/8 of a teaspoon of pepper to your taste, and then also 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder. Of course, you could use fresh if you prefer. So we're going to add this into our pan here. You could use a spoon if your coconut oil is melted. That'd be easy to stir together. My coconut oil is not melted, so I'm going to do it with my hands here. So we're going to get all of the coconut oil mixed into the butternut squash. And don't you just love butternut squash this time of year? It's hearty, it's comforting, it's sweet. It's fantastic. But the fun thing is it has 1/2 of the carbohydrates approximately than sweet potatoes. But if you wanted to do sweet potatoes in this dish, you certainly could. All right, so we have all of our butternut and our onion mixed together here. Looks fantastic. So this is what you're going for. And now I'm going to slide this into the oven at 350 degrees. And then after it's finished baking, I will come back and we will finish our recipe. Welcome back. We have just pulled out of the oven our roasted butternut squash and red onions. It smells wonderful. And now what we're going to want to do is you're going to want to get a stainless steel pan, and we have 2 tablespoons of either chicken broth or vegetable broth, whichever one you prefer. And so we're going to get that heated up on high. So we want that to be nice and steamy, and then we're going to add our komatsuna greens into it. So we have our pan, it's nice and steamy. And I'm going to go ahead and add our komatsuna greens here. Aren't they just beautiful? Okay, and so now we're just going to stir these. I don't want to add a lot of liquid because we want the flavor to really be nice and strong. So we have our greens going here. Oops, somebody fell out. So this is just going to take just a couple of minutes just to soften the greens just enough. We don't want to overcook them. We still want them to retain their nutritional value. So now they've been in around a minute or so, and we're gonna add in 1 tablespoon more of the coconut aminos. So we use some to roast our butternut squash and our red onion, and so now we're gonna add it into our Komatsuna greens here. Here we go. And now we're going to add in our butternut squash and red onions. Aren't they beautiful? Don't worry, the pan has cooled down, so it's not piping hot. So I'm going to add these now into the greens. And the butternut squash and the onion is going to help flavor the komatsuna. Okay, here we go. Oh, it's so pretty. We have the bright green from the komatsuna, and then we have the orange, and we have the purple. Oh, it's so pretty. I hope that you love this. So it's almost finished. So now to add just another layer of flavor, we are going to add in 1 tablespoon of toasted sesame oil, okay? Now, if you would prefer to do more coconut oil, you sure can. I personally really enjoy the sesame oil though. So I'm going to turn down the heat and add in that sesame oil here. And we're going to add this, stir it together. Beautiful. Now, if you wanted to add a little bit more pepper, feel free to. If you had wanted to put in some fresh garlic extra, if you're a garlic lover, you could add some of that in here. And then just stir it all nice and together. Oh, it smells so good. I smell the garlic powder from the butternut squash, and you get that toasted sesame aroma. It is just fantastic. And then last but not least, you could put on a topping of whatever you want. If you wanted to do some sesame seeds, you certainly could. I'm gonna do some cashews actually. So we're gonna put some cashews on here just to add a fun little crunch. And so I'm gonna turn off the heat and I'm gonna show you this beautiful pan. There we go, everyone. I hope that you enjoy this simple dish. God bless you, and we will see you next time in the Cook to Flourish kitchen.